guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Krista. I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest. When I got married, I moved out here to the desert with my husband, and it's quite a change, but it's one I absolutely love. Just given the weather, it's been amazing living here the last couple years. If you're new to my channel, I'm a mom of 2 little kids, and we're expecting our 3rd in October. And so these videos just are little glimpses into our life, just what homemaking looks like for me these days. Some of the videos on the channel, you'll see I get a lot done, and others, it might be like, what did she do all day? This would be one of those days. As the pregnancy progresses, I found I have to pull back from a lot of things just because physically I find myself very limited, which I was just talking to my husband about how sometimes it's really sad, or I find it kind of hard to not be able to maintain life at my regular levels, energy levels and stuff, and how it really is a sacrifice. I think people don't maybe realize, or they don't really talk about sometimes, how just the challenges of pregnancy and carrying a child. And it hit me the other day, all the things that we haven't been able to do, or plans we've had to change multiple pregnancies, where we had things we were excited to do, but then when it came down to it, I physically wasn't up to it. And just how I'm so not used to that. Normally, like growing up on a farm, we're just very active, always doing stuff, and to have to pull back has sometimes just been super, super hard, because I never want to view myself as like lazy or not productive, but this pregnancy, for sure, I've definitely noticed I've really had to just pull back. Lately, I've had a lot more Braxton Hicks, and those seem to be brought on by activity. Even just doing stuff around the house, it can get pretty bad. So, the Braxton Hicks, that is. So that means these days, I'm just trying to do the basics. Now, when I say that, I mean stuff like keep the house running. Have I vacuumed the rug in the last couple days? No, but food is the priority right now. So making sure that we have fresh bread, not necessarily fresh bread, but just making sure we have bread that we can pull out for lunches and things like that. Keeping the laundry running, keeping the laundry going so we don't run out of clothes, that kind of thing. So I am grateful that I can still do some things, but I've definitely had to dial things back a bunch the last couple weeks. One of my go-tos for lunches these days have been doing grilled cheese. I don't know what it is, something about the combination of carbs and fats, I guess. Like the bread, and then the fat from the cheese, and just the crunch of the crisp of the sourdough bread once you grill it. It's just, I've been thoroughly enjoying that these days. I try to make sure I have a side of veggies and make sure I get some good protein in so that it lasts me. And actually, it does hold me over quite a while. Often I'm not hungry for an afternoon snack, which I feel like is a bonus, especially right now as, the baby, they say, grows the most in the 3rd trimester. And so as much as I've been working to eat healthy and avoid sugar and all that stuff, it can be a bit discouraging to see the pregnancy weight just sticking to you and like adding up. But at the same time, I'm trying to remind myself that I'm going to need energy stores and stuff like that for when it comes to nursing and things like that. And so in some ways, I think my body just needs to collect the extra weight because it's going to need it later. I don't know. That's the only way I can console myself, because it's definitely not fun to feel like a different person. I guess I've been pregnant like 2 other times, and I think every time it kind of, once I get to the 3rd trimester, it kind of hits hard, even when you are just doing your best to eat healthy. I guess I'm just not one of those people that puts on a few pounds here and there when I'm pregnant. So anyways, enough of that. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I'm just trying to be grateful that we have a chance to have another little one, that trying to, look at the positives and stuff instead of the things that would be super, super easy to complain about right now. That being said, I am very grateful to have a husband that works so that I can stay at home with the kids and invest in them, and I don't have to worry about going to like a job every day. If I need to sit down and take a break, I can do that. I actually had these clothes hanging out like all day long. They didn't need to be out that long, but I wasn't able to get to them till after supper just because of how I was feeling. So I did make another batch of bread, which this bread is fairly easy to make. Once you make it, you just let it sit for most of the day. And it actually was ready to go in the oven about supper time, which it was like, oh, come on, because I had to pull it out halfway through to finish baking the supper. But I'll go ahead and show you guys. I made a taco bake, which after I made it, or when I was in the middle of making it, I kind of realized, I haven't been able to eat a lot of spicy food lately because I got really bad acid reflux suddenly. But actually, so I made it and I was like, should I eat it? I don't feel like making anything else. So I went ahead and ate it, and I didn't have any acid reflux. So I don't know if that was just a kind of a random couple days where it was really triggered and now it's fine. I don't know. Anyhow, this is a taco bake, and it's got kind of a fake cornbread crust. So it's nice if you want more of just a fat-based meal, because the crust, well, you'll see here shortly what it's made of. This is another recipe from Trim Healthy Mama. I've kind of been going through their cookbooks and kind of experimenting and kind of trying to try out different recipes, see if there's more that we really like that I just hadn't tried before. So I'll show you guys how I made it. After cooking the beef and draining off as much fat as I could, then I added the spices and just let that mix for a little bit, let that, heat up. And then I added some salsa. I didn't have canned stuff, so I just used from a big jar that I had in the cupboard and mixed that in. It was mild, so maybe that had something to do with it. It wasn't really strong, and so then maybe I was able to handle it because of that. I don't know. Anyways, then I needed to open up a giant can. I had run out of my tomato paste in either my small containers, and I find it's cheaper often just to buy a bigger container. So measured out what I needed, used that, and then the rest I just portioned into Ziploc baggies. I did about 1 cup per bag. When I need to pull it out in the future for stuff like pizza sauce or whatever recipe I'm using that calls for it, then it's super handy and ready to go. Something lately I've been doing is making my own baking powder. The original container that I had, I know it has some form of aluminum in it, which is not really something you want to be putting in your body. So because of that, I started mixing baking soda and cream of tartar. I think it's like a 3-to-1 or something. Maybe it's 2. No, it is 3-to-1. Whatever. Essentially, you do 1 tablespoon cream of tartar and then 3 tablespoons of baking soda. Just mix that up. Now, it does clump for sure because there's no agent to prevent it from clumping. It's, just my own concoction or whatever. I actually got it from my mom. That's how she did it when we were growing up. So it's nice if you don't want the junk that's in regular baking powder, and it works just as good. So there's this gal that I know who's also expecting about the same time I am in October, and she talked about how she was getting freezer meals ready, and I was like, based on how I'm feeling, I highly doubt as it gets closer to the birth that I'm going to have days where I have tons of energy and I can just do a whole ton of freezer meals. So as of late, I've just been splitting whatever meal we're having in half and then freezing half of it. We haven't really ever had issues with freezer burn. I try to package the stuff up real well, and then we usually eat it in time. So I figure, we're like 2 months out now from the birth or something. Something like that. I can't think at the moment. But anyways, so I've been, just portioning off half and then freezing it and trying to label it real well. So that way we have meals that are ready to go. Plus, with the church we've been going to, the service ends like later than we have ever gotten home in the past. The church goes quite late. And so because of that, sometimes we're eating lunch like early afternoon, which is very different for us. And so because of that, I really need the meals to be ready to go as soon as we get home. There's no time to like stick stuff in the oven and cook it for like 40 minutes. So that's why I went ahead, and lately I've just been baking all my freezer meals, and then when we go to pull them out, all we'll have to do is reheat them. So with this taco bake, it kind of stuck a little bit, but overall it was really, really good. I used some Greek yogurt instead of sour cream because I didn't have sour cream on hand. And then I just added some cheese to it, some mozzarella cheese. And you guys, this stuff like does not want to melt. I don't know what they put on it. It was pre-shredded. I think it was cheaper to buy a big bag of that than to shred my own. And my word, it's kind of weird. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, I added the Greek yogurt, and then I just cut up some cilantro. Not everyone in the family loves it, but I do. So I put it on mine and the kids, and then we had just a simple dressing on our salad, and that was our dinner for the night. I gotta tell you, there's nothing like evenings once the kids are in bed. Or for us, once the one kid is in bed, then I can take the oldest and go do stuff with him. Sometimes I'm just sitting on the couch needing to really relax to try to get the Braxton Hicks to slow down. Other times, I'm out doing stuff like picking up laundry, getting the sprinklers going. I'm just very grateful for evenings, let's put it that way. As much as you love the kids, also at the same time, it's nice just to be able to do stuff and take care of things that maybe need to be done that are easier to do when there aren't little ones around. I hope this video somehow encouraged you. Maybe you saw things you were like, I didn't know that. Or just the fact that I'm a real person. I have limits. I don't have tons of energy all the time, but just trying to do what I can to keep the house running in good, smooth condition. So thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next week.